Welcome back to Astrological's Racing. Today we're going to be diving into something that a lot of you guys are pretty familiar with, and you probably have them on your rig right now as we're speaking. But there's companies out there constantly innovating and trying to come out with some new and effective ways for the game or the sim to effectively communicate what's going on inside of the car or on the track to your body. So we're going to dive deep into this one and what kind of separates this one from your standard bass shaker, your rumblers, your vibrating things, and we'll just explain the benefits of both, and then we'll just dive into the specs of what makes this thing kind of special. So Nitro Concepts, they came out with something pretty unique. They started off making computer chairs and took off from there and decided, hey, you know what, let's make something that's going to cater to also the bucket seats that we create. So they create bucket seats as well. And they created these inserts that actually have haptics built inside of them. And it's a plug-and-play solution where everything is seamless integration with their own built-in software, and everything is just compiled all into one easy plug-and-play solution with the amplifier, the wiring, just a couple of cords, plug in and go. And then effectively do whatever effects that you want to have communicated from the sim to your body in a really sweet manner. I just think it's just really amazing, because I think a lot of you guys would agree. When I started buying these bass shakers, I would have to go out and source the black and white, the negative and positive speaker wire from Amazon. I actually have a spool of it right over there. You had to buy the amplifiers, you have to buy the bass shakers, the pucks. I'm already $300, $400, sometimes $500 into just material. And then I buy all this material and I don't even know how to mount it to the damn rig. So all this money trying to figure out solutions on how to effectively mount this onto my rig, or I put it up underneath the seat, maybe onto the shifter column, and I still have them. They're still very effective to this day. But I think that simplifying things, plug in and play, is what a lot of people, especially new guys, are really looking for. And if I press hard enough, I can find inside here, I do feel a couple of the pucks, maybe a larger transducer here, and then of course this will go to the control box, but we're going to dive into that here very shortly. Without further ado, let's get into this extended, in-depth, closer look of the Nitro Concepts haptic seat pads.
Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Astrological's Racing. Today, we're going to be diving a closer look into this company called Nitro Concepts, courtesy of Podium 1 Racing. This is their all-new Metahaptics, and this one really caught my eye a few months back when I started seeing it at some of the expos and some of the guys taking a closer look at it, because this is something kind of unique. And what made it stand out to me was you don't have to go out and buy all of these different bass shakers. Now, no stranger to haptics. You've seen me review and take a closer look at the haptics, the HF8 by Next Level Racing, which was a cool experience. But essentially, those are just rumbler motors, which is just PS5 and Xbox controllers built into a seat that have one or two different frequencies. And it's effective at communicating, but it kind of just stops there because there's no dynamic range between the hertz from 20 hertz to 70 hertz. It's kind of just vibrates in relevancy to the effects that you want to have enabled. And then we moved on to the Sim Racing Studio, which was absolutely game changer. And obviously you can't really beat it for the price, because essentially those are actual bass shakers. So the technology is completely different from what you have experienced previously, right? So you have rumblers and then you have bass shakers. Now, this is a combination of both. You have bass shakers and rumblers as well. In fact, you have 14 different actuators built into this 3-tier system. So you have the bottom cushion, the middle cushion, and then the one that goes in behind your back. I've been testing for the past couple of days, and truthfully, I'm pretty impressed. I really am impressed. Nitro Concepts website, and what we're going to be doing is just running through it, educating ourselves on the company history just a little bit, and see where they started. So Nitro Concepts is actually a company. They actually have sim racing equipment, gear, all of the different types of seats. They have rigs also, which is actually really unique. But this is kind of they were notorious for back in the day, desk mats and accessories, kind of how they started, gaming desks and also gaming chairs. So I pulled up the immersion tab just because this is what we're doing here, right? It's all about immersion. So I did take some time to read all of this. If you want to on your own recognizance, go ahead and scroll through this and read exactly what all these do. This is what they have to offer, and you guys can check it out. So they have an immersion wind box, which is like a wind sim. And a lot of these companies, they have very similar concepts of this, but then you're just competing with essentially a price point and maybe a few RPM differences and power differences, response rate, latency, things of that nature. I still have yet to test out the Sim Racing Studio on the rig right over here. So that actually is coming here shortly. So I am excited to share that with you guys here momentarily. You have the wind fan, powerful airflow, awesome. So you have an immersion LED box, and I'm assuming that's for really essentially any type of LED box that you may have, like flags, relevant RPM gauges, things like that, maybe ambient lighting, right? And of course, the meat and potatoes of this entire experience is brought to you by the Immersion Metahaptics, and this does come with the actual controller, which is that little smart box that you see there, and it's sweet. This is actually pretty sweet. So we're going to get straight into it. It also comes with the R300 seat, and it kicks your butt. So this is powerful. I had to actually dial it back my first go around as well. So let's go ahead and go into this section. So the first thing that you're going to see here is the massive price tag. And that was one of the first things I noticed as well, because I'm like, holy crap, $1,000 for freaking haptics. This is very expensive. But rest assured, I talked to the developers, software guys, and somebody from the sales, I think via Instagram. This is also inclusive with the actual R300 seat as well. That's actually not bad in the grand scheme of things, considering you're also getting a sim racing seat on top of a plug and play solution with all of these amazing haptics built into the actual cushions. So my experience over the past couple of days when I was testing this, I first tested it with the physical Nitro Concepts software. And I was very, very, very impressed by the user interface of this actual software and what it looked like, the user friendliness. The setup was massively easy, and I loved it. One thing, and this is probably user error, this is something that I probably did. I'm not blaming anybody. This is something that I possibly did. One thing that I noticed when I tested a couple of the sims, I wasn't able to feel the differentiating left and right channels. So if I ran over a left rumble strip, and this is from the software, I wouldn't feel it on the left side of my body. Or if I ran over a right rumble strip, I wouldn't feel it on the right side of my body. That is one thing that I noticed. This is probably user error. Again, maybe something that I overlooked or didn't completely set up. So in essence of all of that, I decided to set up via SimHub. So once I set it up via SimHub, I took probably well over an hour of actually meticulously assigning the left cheek, the back cheek, the upper portion of my back, and I named all of these little files, and I'll share that profile with you guys if you guys are going to be interested in getting something like this. After I spent an hour dialing this experience in, I was blown away. I was able to then feel the car effectively communicate in different portions of the body. When I ran over the right rumble strip, the right side lit up. Ran over the left rumble strip, the left side lit up. Vice versa. RPMs also, they shot up and down my back. It would start from my legs all the way into my spine. And at first, I told Colin this. I said, dude, it felt like I was inside of an electric chair, but I wasn't getting electrocuted. It is powerful. So this also, again, just real quick, it has bass shakers, actual bass shakers, and the rumble pucks as well. So kind of getting the best of both worlds here. So again, the Metahaptics here, we have different pictures here. So as you can see here from the picture, it does come with the 3 different cushions here. It also comes with the control box, which is this bad boy right here. The double-sided Velcro. This goes straight into the PC. This is your power cable. This is also an additional cable, and then the power box as well. One really unique thing that I wanted to talk about just briefly was this mesh material. One thing that these other companies lacked, Next Level Racing and Sim Racing Studio was effectively dispersing heat. Those things got hot extremely fast. There was no way for the heat to dissipate or like evaporate, right? It was like the first one was that they got extremely hot. They were built into these very tough, hard cushions, the HF8. That was also an extremely uncomfortable experience after X amount of time, 15, 20 minutes. And it also raised you up a few inches off the actual rig, pushed you forward an inch, and you would almost have to rearrange the entire rig in order to make it work. So it wasn't the best experience. Moving on to the Sim Racing Studios, that was very effective. I have it over there, but it's very, very thin material. If they had put just a sliver, like a 1-inch thing of styrofoam, or not styrofoam, some sort of actual memory foam inside there, not only would it keep a little bit of its rigidity, but it would also effectively absorb some of the heat caused from the hot pucks. Those pucks on my thighs, man, after about 10 minutes of some hardcore racing, boy, those things were hot. Those suckers got really hot. And I was just, that wasn't necessarily like deal breaker for me, but that's just something definitely to note on the Sim Racing Studios, that they do get uncomfortable after some longer endurance races. So keep that in mind if you are going that route as well. Now, this seemed to be the ultimate solution from what I've experienced so far to this date. I'm very impressed with how everything is just built into the actual seats. So it's tri-layered inside there, and in between these tri-layers of foam, which is all part of now the actual seat, there's zero heat, absolutely no heat, which is game changer, right? Going back over here, the mesh. So you have all of this where the heat can actually dissipate quite a bit, which is game changer. That is amazing material. So I was really happy with that. So scroll down here. So we have customizable feedback, which we went over for maximum control. And I had the best experience, again, through SimHub. Now, you can do it through the software. There's no harm, no foul if you go through your own software. Again, this is probably something that I overlooked. Maybe I did something incorrectly, but I will say the user friendliness, the UI is very attractive. It's very nice. Comfort, I was extremely impressed also by this mesh material. There's no heat absorption. It would absorb the heat, but it would dissipate extremely quickly. So there was no heat transfer to my skin, which was huge. When you're on endurance races like this, you want to make sure that you're not getting all of this heat. Any extra heat that's involved in your rig gets uncomfortable, right? It's just not ideal. Not to say that it's the end of the world, but it's just not ideal to have unwanted heat, especially coming from some base shakers. And again, here is the little control box that it comes with. Seamless integration, very easy to set up. Right now, no. So it's not just these titles right here, Assetto Corsa, Competizione, and iRacing, with support for more games to come. Automobilista 2 is also a supported game, and it works absolutely fantastic. And I'm sure that they could probably update this, but there has been more games or sims added to this list. So here's all the specifications. Here, it's the primary color is black. Scope of delivery, seat cushion, cover the middle cushion, power supply, Metahaptics. And you guys I already did the unboxing video, so you guys already know. So this compatibility, again, it does come with the R300 seat. But if you have your own seat, you can also purchase this separately, which is perfectly fine. And I will say that it works perfectly fine in the Momo XXL bucket seat. Big boy, that's me. I'm 6'5", 250 pounds. Could be 255 now. Could be. But this is a larger chair, and it fits like a glove inside of this rig, and it's pretty nice. This is something that kind of surprised me. The power supply, this PSU out wattage is only 100 watts. But boy, does this thing pack a freaking punch. If it had, 200 or 300 watts, obviously that would be amazing as well. But I think what they have here, the PSU wattage, it's more than enough power from what I've experienced, especially being at 19 volt, 5.2 amp. It's absolutely more than enough. We're going to go into some of my software settings, and I'll share that here on the screen as well. But overall, Let's just talk about the overall experience. Now, the price tag, it's expensive. It's an investment. But I also have to take into account with the type of technology that they have inside of this. All right, so let's have a closer look at what's going on inside of this amazing experience here that they've built inside of the actual pads here. So as you can see, we have a couple of regular size base shakers alongside with some extra smaller shakers. You got 6 smaller ones up here. So you got two big ones here and then 4 across the back. One thing to note here, this is something that I may or may not get yelled at for. I did swap these 2 cushions because I personally, and this is probably just something that I've experienced, I enjoyed it better when it was on the rear portion of that seat. It just felt absolutely perfect where it was. And this is exactly how I hooked it up right here as well. So you hooked it up straight to the PC. That goes up underneath the seat. The control box can be mounted up underneath the seat. And it works seamlessly via SimHub or their built-in software. But this is actually what it looks like. There's 14 different actuators, full range of haptics across the entire seat and backrest. Again, like I said, plug-and-play solution. Connect this via the USB into your software, and it recognizes the seat, and then play and enjoy. It was, It was really, honestly, it was that easy to set everything up. And then, of course, you can have the sim racing seats also installed as well. Now, it is compatible right here with a wide range of different seats. So you have Nitro Concepts, Recaro, GT Omega, Corbeau? I can never pronounce their name correctly, so please forgive me. Corbeau and Shrek, featuring a 3 cushion layout. And then you have the Metahaptics technology. The highest resolution goes all the way up to 20 hertz. The ultra low latency is 20 ms. And then the spatial surround is 8 channels, which again, that's why I loved to set it up via the actual SimHub software, which is absolutely amazing. And here we go. Here are all, AMS2 actually is available, by the way. Here are all the games currently supported. So you have Assetto Corsa, iRacing, Competizione, and Assetto Corsa Evo, which is freaking awesome. And now they do support SimHub, which was actually super easy to set up, which was really awesome. So here are all the different features that you can have set up on your seat. And this is all personal preference stuff. And I say this wholeheartedly, less is more. Trust me when I say this. One thing I noticed, I didn't want to have ABS, traction control, or any type of wheel effects on my haptics because I have those communicated through my actual pedal deck and underneath my butt, just in case, and on my physical pedals. So ABS, traction loss, things of that nature, I already have on the actual SimMagic SimJack pedals with their little pucks. Not pucks, but the haptics that they have built on. So ABS, you have engine effects with RPM changes, intensity. You have gear shift, which is my personal favorite. So every time you actually shift, you have this jolting going through your body at a pretty unique feeling. You have road feel. So if you're going over curbs, again, smooth asphalt to bumpy curbs to immersive driving sensations, it has this really amazing way to separate the left and right channels when you're going over rumble strips, like the red and white or red and yellow in this case. And it also has wheel slip, which again, like I said, I like to have on the bottom of my pedal plate and on my actual pedals. That's just how I have it myself. Now, it looks like you have a ton of different things, immersive, competitive, custom. Then this is all built into their actual software. Oh, look at that. This is very interesting. I did not see this. So you can see how it's all integrated here, how it all comes apart. So all of this has actual Velcro on the side. Super easy to just install in that manner. And again, I did, and this is just me, I flipped these 2. This is actually back here. I probably shouldn't have done that, but this is a personal preference thing, I think, in a sense, and it works out perfectly. So I just swapped these 2, and this is the main haptics right here, and now it's under my bum. So I personally like it right there. It just felt I had more feedback through my body when it was directly under me. Of course, they have a ton of videos and everything like that. The technology and everything like that as well. So here's something really interesting. So what is built into the cushions to create such effects. There are 6 main actuators on the seat cushion and 8 into the rear cushion. These are responsible for all of the haptic feedback. So you got 2 big ones and 4 to 6 small ones each. So that's actually really unique. I was wondering about that myself. So we're actually learning this a little bit together as well. So I already explained technology and everything that goes into this. Of course, we talked about how you can use this as an application, SimHub, everything like that. And that's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and close this out and we'll be good to go. So closing this out, overall consensus. I've said this once, I've said it many times before. I'm no stranger to haptics. And I think that it's just so incredibly amazing that we can be in today's day and age, in today's day and age to literally have all of these incredible options and all of these companies competing for the most innovative way to capture and create more immersion, right? And I think it's amazing. I really, really think it's fascinating that we just can continue to innovate and bring realism to unprecedented levels. It truly is pretty awesome. And of course, this doesn't necessarily break the bank. If you have the means for motion, I would absolutely say, dude, go for motion. And my next challenge, in case you guys didn't know this, I have to go for motion eventually. I'm going to be doing it here the next couple of months. And that's going to be a challenge because I have to maintain these peripherals. But I have been in the talks with Race Beyond Matter. And I have an idea of what I need to do. I don't really want to do it because it's a lot of work, but it's necessary in order to do what needs to be done to maintain the immersive experience, the roll cage, everything around it, the displays, the race nets, everything like that. And it's going to be a challenge. But as you guys know me, I need to do it. It's really the end goal. What Race Beyond Matter has done, he's achieved the most immersive experience possible. Next thing what to do is to get into building a second rig. And once I do that, I think everything that you see in here is actually going to be turning into, I've already AC'd and put a mini split into the garage. So I have beautiful epoxy floors inside there. So I'm converting the garage into a sim racing studio and a YouTube studio. It's actually really nice. I got a mini split in there. It gets down to 70 degrees within 10 minutes. Probably going to move everything that you see inside here out there. I am crammed in this little room. So that's next on the radar. But let's get back to the Metahaptics here. Is it worth it? Absolutely. Especially if you're getting into sim racing. I would say that it definitely is amazing. It truly is. If you haven't experienced haptics, I would highly recommend that you go this route or a similar route, right? Because what that's going to do is bring the experience to that level that you're always looking for. So hopefully you guys have been enjoying these videos so far. Next, we're going to be reviewing, I like to say, a closer look at how I built and redesigned the 1/4-inch ABS plastic roof that you all see here with integrated Philips Hue lights, which is going to be a very unique video. I've been documenting this for the past, good Lord, I think it's been over a month now that I've been rebuilding this. And I told you guys I was going to rebuild it. It's done. Now I just have to compile and organize everything. Anyways, I'm rambling. Love you guys. Thank you guys so much for supporting this channel. And again, if you want to further support this channel, head over to Podium Racing. If you want to save some cash, you want to save a little bit of money on this experience, or even check out some of their GSI wheels, which again, I don't have any right here. It's actually on the rig right now. You can save a significant amount of money if you use the discount code, of course. And I'm not looking for commission. I'm really just hoping to continue to share my passion with you guys, because that's what it's all about. At the end of the day, I love what I do, and I do what I love because this is something that truly brings me fulfillment. And just to close this out real quick, now that we're all here, I had an amazing time at Sebring. Steve Palladino, Podium Racing, took me up there. He said, hey, listen, I want you to experience this. I want you to come up there. He put me in 7 Sebring's Hotel. And if you guys haven't seen the Instagram already, I was literally on turn 3, which is turn 3 or 4. Maybe it's turn 7. I forgot exactly which one it was. I'll put a little overlay right here, where my window was literally facing one of my favorite corners of the entire track, one of them. And you look out there and you see all the Porsches, Mercedes, Lamborghinis, everything going around the track out there. It was really, honestly, a surreal experience. And then obviously meeting with Steve Palladino, such a humble, good-hearted guy. I don't think it gives you, when you meet this guy, it really actually, the best way to describe it is it lets you know that there's still good people out there. Restoring this faith in humanity. Like, I had this surreal experience. Like I'll get into it later with everything, but I'm just so grateful for Podium One, Steve, the team, everybody out there. You guys are absolutely amazing for everything that you guys do, continuing to make the sim racing environment the way it is, and then to continue to help others. I think it's amazing. So without further ado, I'll see you guys on the track.